I need something taken care of.
What? Hey man, quit trying to distract me.
How are you in the water?
What you mean? Can I swim?
Yeah. Can you swim well?
No, I can't. Shit! Man, damn! How you do that? Hold on. You trying to tell me you can't swim?
Seriously, when I'm in the deep water, it panics me. Plus, I'm terrified of eels and squid and seaweed and...
Okay, dude, see, I know you're just trying to make excuses now.
Look, CJ. I need someone from outside the triad who I can trust.
Alright, so let me get this straight. You want me to swim around in dirty dock water, dodging little brown jelly beans and Vietnamese gangsters, to put a bug on a boat in the harbor?
You're so negative.
Listen, man. When I was a kid, swimming off the Santa Maria, I once got a condom stuck to my face. Hard like that stays with you for life. Believe that.
I have a confession to make. I'm blind.
No shit.
Yeah. Although I've trained my other senses to a point where you wouldn't notice my handicap, in the water, they'd be quite useless.
All right, Woozy, relax. Don't beat yourself up about it. Look, I'll do it. One last thing. You do know that I'm black, right? And not Chinese.
I'm blind, Carl, not stupid.
So the reason for both of those pornographic cutscenes to play right there is because the first cutscene plays when you have less than 5% lung capacity. And I actually don't like that first cutscene all that much, because CJ seems really into the video game, which seems a bit out of character, honestly. But that's all besides the point, as the second cutscene plays when you have 5% or more lung capacity, and the way that you build up that lung capacity is by finding a water source that's diveable, and then you dive into it and hold your breath underwater. And then once you run out of breath, then you could resurface and catch your breath, and you just rinse and repeat that process several times to eventually build up your lung capacity to the 5% requirement. And there's no percentage in game that shows you that. You just kind of have to guesstimate a little bit, because you do have a statistics screen when you're on foot. You can hold down the right directional button, for example, on the Xbox, and that will pop up your statistics screen, and you can kind of see where your lung capacity currently is. And then, of course, there's pop-ups as you're actually doing the lung capacity stuff to build it up. Like, you'll get a pop-up on screen every so often showing you kind of the status of that meter. So there's a few ways of checking it, I guess, but none show you flat out if you have 5%. But anyway, this is the part of the mission where that's really why you have to get that percentage mark, is because of this, where we have this rock formation, which kind of seems like you can't escape this rock formation, but you can with some fancy footwork. You can see we're climbing our way out of here. Because this part of the mission requires us to dive underwater, swim around the place, and it's all very slow. So what we're doing instead is skipping that section and just grabbing ourselves a miniature boat so we can approach the large boat and plant the bug onto it. And if this boat doesn't appear, then you can just drive away a considerable distance and then drive back and hope that it respawns into the game. So this allows us to quickly get to the big boat that we're going to be planting the bug on. And there's a bunch of spotters out into the water, but they're pretty ineffectual because we're just kind of flying right past them. So they'll see us for a second, but then we'll lose them because of how fast we're moving, and then those searchlights also really don't matter all that much. And you can see now that we're actually in the water in this section of the area, we get another cutscene that plays showing us these spotters. So we really won't mind them any attention. Instead, we'll just hop onto the big boat using this staircase, and we can pretty much just go guns blazing, as the game continues to emphasize that we can use stealth during this part of the mission, but it's really not necessary, because a lot of these guys just have knives, So, I mean, they're going to try running up to you, and you can use just pretty much any weapon, especially a shotgun would probably be really good here, especially because it's like close quarters too. So, yeah, shotgun blast would pretty much take care of all these guys. But really doesn't matter. Whatever weapon you have should be fine. Of course, you want to check those corners and all that type of stuff, because they can really sneak up on you here in these small corridors and stuff. So with all that, it's a pretty easy little mission once you go guns blazing and you just kind of ignore all those spotters out there. But I do want to point out something about the cutscene that plays when you're able to actually do this mission. So the second cutscene, where CJ mentions getting a condom stuck to his face, and that always reminds me of working at Jack in the Box, because for the first few months I was essentially just a janitor, and I remember there was one day I was throwing out the trash, and there's this one trash bin that was at the end of the drive-through area so people could throw away their bags or receipts or whatever, and it was overflowing, so I had to kind of get that all sorted. And as I was doing that to throw it into the big dumpster, there was some stuff that fell out onto the ground, and one of the things was a brown paper bag, which didn't seem suspicious at first, but as I was approaching it, I noticed that there was a condom sticking out of it that was leaking onto the ground. So that was a very nasty thing that I had to deal with there. But anyway, that wraps up this part. Speaking of nasty things, in the next part we'll be doing the next mission for the garage, which is Ice Cold Killer. So until then, I will see you next time.